Hi guys, welcome back. This is part 9 of the troll video, and in this video we are making the tail. If you're only here to see how we attach the fluff part, then you're going to fast forward towards the end where we attach the tail, the puffy part of the tail, and for that you're going to need a steel pet brush and acrylic yarn works best. And as always, is pretty repetitive for the tail part, so if you don't need video help, just refer to the written pattern and fast forward to the parts that you need. Alright guys, grab your crochet hook and let's get started. Alright my friends, look how much we've made. We got one last piece for his body and then we'll make the overalls. So now we're making the tail, and again it starts with a loop with 6 stitches. Alright, row 2 is 2 single crochets in each one of those 6 stitches. And remember, you can hide the starting yarn tail if you want, or you can leave it hanging. It's up to you. I'll just hide mine away. That was 2 into the 4th. 2 more to go. And the last one. And there we go. Finished row 2, and now we have 12 stitches around. I'm going to cut my starting yarn tail free. Rows 3 and 4 is 1 single crochet in each one of those 12 stitches. Let's add a marker. Alright, now we can continue on. 1 single crochet in each one of those 12 stitches for 2 rows. I'll continue on with the pattern. I'll meet you back here at the end of row 4. At the end of row 4, row 5 is 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now 2 together. Repeat that one more time. When you land on the marker, you should be crocheting 2 stitches together. At the end of row 5, and now we have 10 stitches around. Rows 6 through 8 is 1 single crochet in each one of those 10 stitches for 3 rows. I'll continue on with the pattern. We'll meet back here at the end of row 8. At the end of row 8, now we're going to stop and stuff the tail. And this is the only time we stuff it. We're going to leave the rest of it unstuffed. You can see I put lots in there. Add your marker. We're going to reduce the row by 2 more stitches. And if you find this part too difficult, don't worry about reducing. Just do single crochets and give yourself a length for the tail. But if you don't mind working in the small round, then let's make row 9 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And now 2 together. And now repeat that one more time. 1 in the next 3. And now 2 together. And now we're just going to do a length for the tail of single crochets. So you can play around with this. You don't have to reduce it like I just did. We can totally leave it the way it was. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with modifying a pattern to suit yourself. Nothing wrong with that at all. You can change anything you want to. I know that it can get frustrating when you're crocheting in small rounds when you're first beginning, so don't worry about bringing it down to 8 stitches. Okay, so now we're going to add the length to the tail. Rows 10 to 17 is 1 single crochet in each one of those 8 stitches for 8 rows. And again, you can make it shorter if you want to. It's all up to you. So if this part's a little bit stressful because we are working in a small round and some people just don't like doing that, you can remove your marker. Don't worry about counting and don't worry about keeping track. Just crochet 1 single crochet in each one of those stitches and keep going around until you think you have the length that you would like. And if you want to get to 17 rows, like the pattern calls for, then just crochet in the round for a little while, stop, and then count the rows. You can start right down here with row 1 and then count. Count behind your last stitch you just put in and see where you're at. The only time it really matters, honestly, is if you're doing legs and arms. On a tail, it doesn't matter. You can make it short, you can make it long. It doesn't really matter. No one's going to be taking out a tape measure and measuring it. And it's not going to throw anything off because it's one tail that we're adding. So you just do what's easiest for you. Absolutely. And don't you feel bad one little bit. And don't hold things so tight. Just relax a little bit. Let your hook do the work. No worries. Alright guys, I'll continue on and I'll meet you back here at the end of row 17. At the end of row 17, and now I'm going to close up the top of the tail. And remember, we're not stuffing the tail itself. So just pinch the top and go through both sides. You should be able to do 3 stitches across the top. Chain 1 and turn, and now 1 single crochet in each one of those 3 stitches. And we are done. So now we're going to finish off. We're going to leave a tail for sewing because we're going to use it to sew that tail to the body. Pull the yarn tail through that loop and pull it tight. Alright guys, if you want to add a little bit of a puff ball at the end of his tail, just grab the yarn that you're going to use, and you don't have to make it the same color as the troll's head. I just coordinate them that way, but you can totally do it a different way, absolutely. So I'm just going to take the yarn I'm using, I'm going to wrap it around these 4 fingers, just going to get a bundle. And I'm going to cut free. I might need more, I'm not too sure. But I'll just start with this. Okay, I'm going to cut through the bottom of the bundle. So now I have strands. So we're going to take each strand and we're going to attach it individually. I know it takes a little bit of time, but the results are worth it. So we're going to pull it through. Now you can do it one of 2 ways. You can root it. This is a way that a lot of people do it. You just pull that loop up and you pull the strands through the loop and then you pull tight. But some people don't like it that way because it can pull free eventually. So I'm just going to pull 1 strand through, for those of you who are worried about it ever coming through, and just double knot it. Okay, now I'm going to do the next one. So I'm just going to pull 1 strand through and knot it. And keep going until you have the number of strands that you want. So I added about 3 rows, I think. Yeah, it looks about like 3 rows. And I could keep going if I wanted to, but I think that's enough. So now I'm just going to trim this up just a little bit. You can leave them long if you want to. I'm just going to trim up around the sides and then leave the middle a little bit longer so it comes out like that pattern. I don't know how to say it. My brain is not working, but you know what I mean. Okay, so now we're going to split them. So because these are shorter, we can get away with just sticking our yarn needle up near the top and just pulling down, and that will split them. If they're longer, you might have to unravel them. So you'll see that the yarn is wrapped in one particular direction, just go in the opposite direction, and that will unravel them. But no need to do that on these shorter ones. They'll just unravel. They should anyway. If not, then just stop and twist them. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. I'll meet you back here when I'm finished splitting all my strands. So once you have all the strands split, then it's easier to brush. And I'm using a steel pet brush, and this works well on acrylic yarn. And we're just going to brush them out. You can see how fluffy it gets once you brush out acrylic yarn. The more you brush, the fluffier it gets. So that brings us to the end of this video, guys, and the next one is the overalls. That's the last piece we have to make, and then we could put our troll together. So we'll end it here, and I'll just meet you over in the next video.